Our most precious Heavenly Father, be with us tonight as we do the business with people of the town, and the things that we should be planning and doing so that we'll have a successful year and that our constituents will be informed and would know what we're going to do. And you guide us in the way that you would have us go. Sure that we do the things that are pleasing in your sight. And bless this group of commissioners that are here to handle the business as it comes before them. We ask this in your name and your help. In God's name we pray. Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. I want to make one change on the agenda. Down under old business, I want to add load management comments from the commissioners. Christian's going to do that. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented and as amended.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Public comments. Consent agenda, I'm sorry. The consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Now, public comments. Individuals wishing to address the board are asked to come provide their name and address for the record. Anyone that wants to speak to the board or to come forward.
My name is Johnny Woodley, 504 North Lincoln Street. Johnson County Militia Boys. When somebody to come and just make a few comments to y'all so we can put liability on y'all, not on anybody else. The other night, Friday night, there was over 50 cars on Market Street over there. There was at least 10 out-of-state tags, and I can't tell you. I tried to be Gomer Pyle and say I wanted to attend a prayer meeting, but they said no prayer meeting like that. So I don't know how many was wearing masks in there. But I can tell you, if there was one to the car, just one to the car, and put 50 people in there, I guarantee you that won't pass state regulation. I am bringing this up because there was an incident in the United States in the past week, a machete happened. I don't know if anybody saw that or not. But it was related that later on that this was a member of the Black Israelis. Now, that group over there are the Black Israelis. All I know is what the FBI from Fed will tell us. So I don't know what they're meeting about. I just know there's got to be too many people in that particular area there in that building. But nobody is just, they're just letting the pot steam right on, and there's nobody doing anything. And maybe they just say, well, it will eventually go away. Well, I've never seen a nightmare go away. And they are, as far as everything that they tell me, the law enforcement, they are bad to the bone. So I'm just bringing this up, and y'all are supposed to help the people in this town be safe and all. And if y'all want to let them keep meeting over there and everything, nothing said, that's up to y'all. I mean, I can take care of myself. I don't know about everybody else, so that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted y'all to be liable. You get that? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anybody else want to come and speak to the board?
I would like to speak, Kimberly, 494 Cracker Road. I wanted to say thank you to the board in October of 2017. Not all the board members are still here, but y'all approved for me to get my master's degree in public administration with a concentration in public management. And I would like to let you all know that November 21st, I walked across the stage. I have graduated. It has been a long 8 semesters. 2 of those were accelerated by summer school. So, but I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity. I always talk about how awesome this place is to work for, but that showed me that night that y'all really did support us in our education. And so I want to publicly thank Mr. Fred, Mr. Max, Dean, Cassandra, Jerry, Will Chandler, wrote it all down, Mr. Raskin-Gill, for voting for me to go back and get my education, get my master's degree. And then I want to thank Holly, Jim, and William for helping support that over the last 2 years. So, thank you.
Let's give her a big hand. We'll figure out some way to recognize that. That's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations. Anyone else like to come and speak to the board? No one else coming forward or close to the public? Here, public comments. Department reports. Anybody have any questions of any of the department heads on their report? We've had a couple of public hearings on the text 20-01. But we're gonna have one more tonight, and then we're gonna vote on this if the board so wishes. So I'm gonna ask Erin Joseph if she will to come forward and tell us what she wants to say.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and board members. I don't have much to add to what we've already discussed about the text amendments. You have them in your packet, all of the additions that have been made, but there are other revision deletions that you have on your sheet here in your packet that was not included just in the information that I sent to you for this past week. That's really just showing you all of the additions, but we have cleaned out the ordinance and made also minor changes, language changes. So I would answer any questions that you may have regarding any of the text amendments, and I'll be more than happy if request that you will vote on this evening to adopt the text amendment in its totality this evening.
Does anybody have any questions of Erin, what she presented? I'm gonna open the public hearing on text 2020-01. Anyone that's in favor of this, come forward. Anyone that's in favor, come forward. Anyone that's opposed, come forward. Anyone that's opposed, come forward. No one coming forward. I close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion from the board to approve or disapprove.
I make a motion that we approve the information that was given to us.
Does anybody have any more questions of Aaron? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. It's in your hands.
Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of water's gone over the dam in doing that, and I think, this is a good start in getting something that, will be used. Under old business, we added the load management comments from the commissioners. Last time, Crystal came up and talked about a lot of the things that that's gone over the water, and we're interested in now. Do you want to say anything now, or you just want to answer questions?
Good afternoon, and thank you again for letting me come back. I wanted to revisit the load management switch discussion. We did have, John come from Electricity, John Coates. He's kind of our representative for us, with Electricities and NextGrid. And they would like an answer from us in regards to, they want to go in and, replace the 50 load management switches that were labeled as potentially failing due to the sensor component that was failing. That is 50 that they've come up with. I'm going to give you a little bit more information as well on that. These 50 could be inside homes or outside homes. And as of today, 186 load management switches are now not communicating. So they are growing in number. I would like for y'all to, look over the information that I gave you and decide whether or not we would like for NextGrid to send in an electrician that they provide and they pay for. Whether we want them to go into homes and replace the load management switches that potentially fail. The things of it that I'm thinking about here is the virus. Do we want this electrician that's coming from Virginia to go in these homes and replace these load management switches that could potentially fail? Now that's just 50 that they would agree. The thing that scares me about this not only is the virus, is if they potentially replace these 50, are they going to wash their hands of us and say we did our part for these failed switches and we're not going to do more? I also spoke with John today, a little bit of information. I said, are there other towns that have the same issues? He said, yes, there are. And Tarboro, they're going to completely stop NextGrid altogether. Now, NextGrid provides our water, electric, and load management. They are going to a company called Census. I don't know if anybody heard that. Grenville are also with NextGrid. These are also Electricities companies as well. So I'm not swaying on it either way. I don't want y'all to think that I'm saying this take and let's drop NextGrid. That's not what I'm saying. I just want to make sure y'all are all aware of the issues that we are having. That way, if other issues arise and there is more switches that burn, y'all know that this is what's going on. And we need your input. We want y'all to tell us what do you think is best for our customers and our town.
50 units you were talking about, I thought they were all outside.
They said that they think that they're outside. The problem is with this is the company that originally put these switches in that was hired or recommended from Electricities, they labeled them in NextGrid wrong, or Echo One is what we call it. They labeled them wrong. So some of them could be labeled as being outside and they could be inside. Some of them could be inside and be labeled as outside. They were also labeled on the wrong relay. So there's a lot of issues going on and we need to fix it. We need to address it. Or we need to say, wash your hands with load management altogether. That is up to y'all. All that information I gave you, if you have any questions whatsoever on that and need more clarification, let me know. We can also ask John Coates, our representative, to come to speak to if y'all need that as well. He wasn't really excited about it, but I said, could you please come? If, he he's done really well for us. Like, we can go to John Coates and ask questions, and he's very good at communicating with next grid for us. They seem to jump when he speaks. I asked him, what he thought about us, and he doesn't really want to say. So, but then he did mention the other towns that have completely stopped with next grid and turned to census. But we've got a lot of money invested in this company, and we're doing a lot better with water meters. But it's just the thing that concerns me is the load management switches in the homes that could potentially fail, and bringing in electricians into people's homes during the virus. And I told them that we were on hold because of the virus, and they kind of want to answer. I'm not sure why, but they want an answer. They keep asking the feedback on what we want to do.
We really need the thoughts of the town board as well.
If they're
If you
willing,
give the information, then we'd like to hear what you got to say.
if they're willing to go in and replace the faulty switches at their cost, because I know that was one of the concerns that we had, is the amount of cost it would cost us to remove them by an electrician. If we've already identified those faulty switches, would they be willing at their cost to go and just remove those faulty switches if we chose them to do that?
I'll go back and ask them. I know they wanted to replace them.
Do you deal with the water meters also? How many is still not communicating?
Right now, we only have like 20. That is a miracle.
And how long has it been since they've been here?
2015. We change modules every time. Jimmy Barber, he is our angel. He works here part-time, and that's all he does is replace modules.
And the cost to take out all the load management was about $136,000.
I think it was like 80.
80.
Yeah. Bird was going to give us like a lump sum and help us out.
To remove every single one.
You said that some of the other towns were going with a different provider. If you switch to a different provider, is that switching to a different switch in each house too? So they would have to come out anyway.
Yes, unfortunately, we'd actually have to buy new meters. That is a big cost.
I don't want the liability on me for somebody's house catching fire. I think we need to at least get the ones that we know are faulty out of the house. And if we can get them to pay for it because they've identified them as faulty as well, that's even better.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Virginia electrician or whether it's Bird, I don't care.
We did send back some switches back to Next Grid that we had in stock. They have since sent those back with, they're saying with a better board in it and doesn't have this faulty. But I do want to say too, and I hate to keep saying stuff that's negative, but also with a load management switch, if they're hooked to a hot water heater, if an element goes out in the hot water heater, it will cut everything off, so that customer will not have hot water. We've had to deal with that at an address just this week. We've actually, Jimmy had a great idea. He said that all load management switches really need to be on the outside of the homes. They were never, should have probably been put inside the home. But then again, it'll go on the HVAC unit, so if we've had them, they also fail.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
These people, are they supposed to be professional people that's coming in doing this work?
The electrician, well, we don't know who they are. Next Grid provides those and actually pays for that electrician. Next Grid, we've been with them, like she said, since 2015. We were kind of like the guinea pig we get started. We were one of the first towns, if not the first town. There is also another town called Southport. I don't know if anybody wants to, I contacted them. If you want to call these towns and get their feedback, that would be a great idea. So Southport has some load management switches that also fail and burn. Tarboro is getting out of Next Grid completely. Clayton has gone to census. So is Tarboro. Greenville has gone to census. There's other towns. What I did is I just went on the Electric City's website and I found the towns and just give them a call and said, hey, do you have Next Grid? Can you give me some feedback? What do you think?
See, if the board could give us some idea of what they're thinking, if you leaning towards getting out, say that. If you're leaning towards trying to make it work, say that.
Yeah, I'm all for getting out.
I'm all for getting out as well.
And do also, if you decide to get out, we are giving customers $15 credits a month. So that's another thing you need to think about as well. Do we want to go ahead and cold turkey take the customers' credits off during the virus? Or do we start like January 1st? Or, you know, all this is, we got so much questions here. That's why we're coming to you.
I'm gonna tell you the concern I have. If you take them all and get someone else to come in, who says we're not gonna have the same problem? That's the thing. The people that get to do this, you all don't know anything about them.
That was unfortunately before me.
So I'm not talking directly to you. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, do you not investigate and see that these people know what they're doing? Because I mean, we could get another company and have the same problem if they don't know what they're doing. Because it sounds like me, this company didn't know what they were doing.
They were new, yes, absolutely. They were recommended from
We
electricity.
wouldn't,
Why
not
don't you ain't always
thinking
better?
about going to somebody else. Get out of the management, out.
I thought you said something about another store.
Census.
Yeah, that's another store.
But the thing of it is you've got to buy the software and the machinery.
No, the reason this has come up is that our electric department has a capability of doing it, and they now do load management. But they do it with voltage control rather than using some device. Now, in the summertime, it gets tough. Being able to get it up. Here's one of the big problems with these load management switches. It's just like she said about the hot water heater. We've had a handful of people that's come and said, hey, you know, I had to take a shower in cold water to go to church this morning. I turned on it and had hot water. Well, that was the problem. The problem is that there's so many hot water heaters that people have in their houses, there's something wrong with, and these load management switches are not going to work right. So I think you're on the right track.
We can still keep the electric and water meters and just not have the load management switches. Load management switches like it's still in the same software, but it doesn't control any water or electricity. And our electric meters are doing very well.
Is this the same software, correct me if I'm wrong, that if someone has a water leak in their house, so if we can get rid of it, you have no way of being able to help that person with a water leak at that time.
And then we have to manually read the water meters and electric.
And keep in mind too, that the AMI meter is what's giving us the ability to do prepaid, which customers aren't paying positive and go that route. So you don't want to get rid of timing of the AMI, the meter, the electric, but I think looking at that, I don't think it's a necessity. We have the ability to do it at the substation.
Yeah, that's what we're more leaning to is more or less get rid of load management and keeping next grid and echo one for our electric and water meters.
Okay. You got what you need.
Yeah, do you have any questions anymore?
If we got rid of it, if we say no, get rid of all, are they gonna, is there gonna be an uninstall period where they're gonna take all of this stuff out?
Yeah, birds will
Who is gonna come,
They won't take it out.
who is gonna come and uninstall all this stuff?
birds electric will be on.
And we could have some issues when we get into that point as well, right?
Only just the virus. Birds helps us tremendously. They're the ones that go in there and bypass the switch.
I'm not talking about birds itself, I'm saying when you take it out, are there some chances that we'll mess something else up that's been put on the inside of the door? We've got issues with the air conditioning units when they install it, not birds, but whoever installed it for this company. We've had issues with hot water heaters. So I'm just, I'm hoping that we don't have any problems when we go to take it out.
So far, we've not had any problems as far as bypassing switches or removing
Actually, the only problem you're gonna have is, patching up everything.
Right.
They're doing the
Catching
whole-
up where it was.
But some of them, they do pretty big.
Yeah. And I wanna say that the statement of work for Bellwether clearly stated they were not allowed inside. They were not allowed to put switches inside. But we know, you and I know very well that that happened. But it was clearly stated in the contract, not that they were not allowed to do that, and they did it anyway.
And they compromised the box.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to do some work with, Ike to get some guidance on which road to go down. He's been involved with this a long time.
So what is the cause of the malfunction box again?
It's a char component, kind of like if you would have something wrong with your car, you know, when you first buy it. So it's just it's a bad, they call it a current sensor component. And so that sensor, when it burns that way, it has a really strong smell in the box. And it's supposed to stay in the box, but unfortunately, Fairweather compromised the fireproof enclosure and caused the smoke to be able to come out of the box. So it was a nightmare from the beginning. We're real fortunate that something bad hasn't really happened.
This actually comes at such a bad time, it's going to be really cold, it's virus, and then it's gonna assess the fees back to the customer, right?
Another thing you can talk about, if you want to, how you would proceed with that. But also, keep in mind there's 182 out there that people are getting credits for that hasn't been communicated for quite some time. It is fair with you.
Well, I think we've got a feel from the commissioners and now the staff will need to go back and do some work on how much it's gonna cost and what really is gonna be the recommendation. You know, Crystal is probably the one person here that can talk to them and get, something done. John Coates, we talked to Roy Jones about having him kind of be the intermediary. John has done a good job for us in trying to get some of these things between Bristol and me. They've saved us some money along the way. And having these things taken out is going to be expensive. But I still, somebody made the comment today that we wouldn't be able to sell these units if they were good units to anybody. We might not want to. That's something we have to get some advice from Michael.
And if you look at the packet, there was a price on there that Burns had quoted to remove the switches, all of them. All the ones that are out there.
Anybody else want to say anything? Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it. Now we're going down to consider the advisory board appointments. You want to do those or you want me to read them?
Either way,
Go ahead, do the chairman.
but last time. The advisory board appointments met sometime earlier in November, to review all of the applications for the, advisory board for the town. Correct me if I'm wrong, Maxine, but as it stands right now, these are a list of all of the applicants that we received, or applications we received for the vacancies. We will still have vacancies after some of these were approved, so if y'all know anybody else that might be interested in it. The first one is Parks and Recreation Board. We received one qualified application from Elgin Alford. After we recommend, moving forward with him on the Parks and Rec Board. Museum Board was Linda Peacock. Library Board was Meredith Blaylock and Linda Peacock. All of those are open seats that we recommend moving forward.
Stop right there just a minute.
Yep.
When you go to the planning board, there's 2 ETJs and 2 residents. So we have to approve the 2 ETJs and then come down and pick 2 out of the 3 residents on the planning board.
That's correct. The planning board is always a hot board, and we typically have multiple applications for that and repeat applications for those positions. We reviewed all of the applications. Recommendation of the committee that met was that we accept the two ETJ positions of Joshua Hefner and Sherry Lockney. We looked at the 3 resident positions. Right now, we have 2 of those open. The advisory committee recommends that we accept the application of Tawanda Shepherd and Greg Joyner.
All right, let's vote on Parks and Rec, Museum Board, Library Board as one motion. Somebody make a motion.
I make a motion to approve, the current applicants for the positions on the Parks and Rec Board, Museum, the Library Board.
Any question? Wait a minute, not the planning.
Not
Wait a minute.
Get down to the police, because that's a vacancy, and so if you want to do them all at once that are uncontested, I would say it'll be the Parks and Rec, Museum, Library, and Police Advisory. Those are the ones that have vacant positions.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Now, between the 3 residents on the planning board, Wanda Shepherd, Carolyn Lambert, and Greg Joyner. What's the recommendation of the
The recommendation of the committee was to accept Joshua and Sherry as the 2 vacant ETJ positions, and to approve the applications of Tawanda Shepherd and Greg Joyner as the 2 resident positions.
Now I got a question. I apologize for not being an advisor, but I just got a question. I see that the Shepherd has applied as being recommended for the police advisory commission and also the planning board. And was there any consideration in that?
Same way with, so if you look up, same way with Linda Peacock, which is at the top of this
Nope.
list, so,
Was there any more? There won't. I was wondering that you got 2 positions, you got 3 candidates, but then one of the 3 recommended is also going to go on to another.
that's correct, that is correct.
fact, I think there's another opening on police advisory.
Well, we've got more openings other than this. There are still vacancies on every board other than the planning board, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken. There are plenty of vacancies.
It's been like that for 25
Yeah, we just don't get enough applications. So, to answer your question, we reviewed all 3 applicants that came in for the resident position of the planning board, based on the review of the applications, experience, and other reasons on the application. That's our recommendation.
All in favor of Wanda Shepherd and Greg Joyner as the 2 residents? Say aye. Opposed, no.
No,
Who's making a motion?
I thought we had one more. All right. Again, we'll entertain a motion for Wanda Shepherd and Greg Joyner. All in favor, say aye. I mean, who will make the nomination?
Did you not make a motion? I did earlier, but.
She did for the,
Well,
yeah, we did them combined.
Separated. Okay, well, I make a motion to, for the planning board of, Wanda Shepherd and Greg Joyner, for the resident, and for the 2 ETJ, Joshua Hefner and Sherry.
There you go. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no.
no,
Ayes have it. Now the police advisory board.
That was included in the first one,
Yeah.
because that's an uncontested position. So that should be it, but again, there may be, there are definitely more openings on every other one other than the planning board still. So if y'all know anybody to apply, but now that we're turning over the advisory committee to the 3 of y'all have fun.
Now, the ex officio appointments to the advisory board. The library board of trustees, who wants to serve on that commission?
So we didn't talk about this because all the commissioners weren't present, but the bylaws say that every 2 years that we change our board to two. So like I've spent the past 2 years on the museum board, and so it's time for us to rotate to a different board. And so since everybody wasn't present, then we saved that discussion for you.
Who wants to serve on the library board? Who wants to serve on the museum board? Who's on the museum board?
I'm on the museum board now. I've been there for 2 years, so it's my turn. I should rotate off of that.
Who wants to serve on the museum board?
4 years. I think
Yeah,
it's 4
but
years.
you can do two.
Yeah, that's right.
Two.
Parks and Rec board.
I was already.
If there's no letter of interest, I would like to serve on the police.
Police advisory board.
That's what I want to serve on.
Police advisory board. Who's gonna do that?
I don't know who's doing the museum, library.
Oh, well, we're gonna get all the commissioners each year now. You want to serve on any of these boards?
I'll serve on anyone that everybody else does.
Probably the library board.
Certainly not.
That's what I'm.
All right, what do you want? You want Jim? You want the library board?
Is Max gonna take it?
No, he said he'd take one, nobody else.
So you take the library board, you take the museum.
What'd you get? Which one did I get?
John, library board for Jim.
You got the museum.
All right, museum. All right, Max.
Then which one you want?
The next one is Parks and Rec, that's what I was on.
Which one?
Parks and Rec. No, that's the one I was on.
Oh,
Which one do you want?
Oh, my heard. I have to have one.
who wants to serve on Park and Rec? How about the police advisory board?
Get it, Win. Get it, Win. Nobody else wants.
William Nagel.
Right.
He's gonna take it.
Got one left.
Parks and Rec.
I can do it again if y'all allow me to.
You don't need to do it again. You have to be against the bylaw.
No, I don't want, well, maybe I need to be on it.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
take
right.
that. I'll really
Yes.
take that.
Okay. Tim Robbins, consider approval of 2021 on-call contract.
We've, last year, we initiated an on-call concrete installation contract. We wrote into that contract options for renewals. So here tonight asking for approval to execute contract renewals for the 2021 calendar year with an increase of 4.5% on all line items. Keep in mind, this is an on-call contract, so it's utilized as needed. When we have to replace the sidewalk, curbs, things like that.
Why 4.5% increase?
We, that's where we negotiated to, the contract allows for negotiation up to 5% increase. And talking with the contractor, he's talking with his concrete salesman and representative that he deals with on concrete. he's basing that off of what they're telling him his next year's contract price will be. And also, like lots of things, goes up and then our concrete price will go down. I do think 4.5% increase is pretty fair based on what he's saying and what my information is regarding where concrete prices.
Does anybody have any questions, Tim? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. On the lane loan care,
Similar request here, this contract for service was initiated last year as well for the 2020 calendar year with Lane Lawn Care for mowing and landscape maintenance contract. This contract had option for renewal as well. So I'm asking for approval to execute contract renewal for the 2021 calendar year with an increase of 2%, only to the original bid price. Keep in mind, we talked a few months back in response to the wet summer that we had. We executed something agreement to have some additional mowing. This does not include that. That expired. That will expire at the end of this year. So this is renewing the original contract, 2% increase.
he
Total
claimed
price.
all his money on that. Didn't
What was that? I'm sorry.
he? I think, didn't he claim all his money on the rain? Increase you get?
I didn't bring that information with me. We utilized the additional mows several times to get through the summer mowing season because it was so wet and rainy. The grass just grew really fast. I just wanted to state that charge is not being accounted for, considered here in this contract. This is essentially renewing the original contract and the work that's specified. So you move the total price to $79,043.25. That's still several $1,000s less than we were 2 years ago. Under the previous arrangement that we had in place with 2 separate contracts.
Does anybody have any questions, Tim? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Purchase of a UTV for the wastewater treatment.
We'd like to add a utility vehicle to the equipment fleet at the wastewater treatment plant. We went out to solicit prices from all the vendors that were identified in the state contract for these pieces of equipment. Identified Bobcat Maple as submitting the lowest price, $13,300.48 for four-wheel drive utility vehicle. Asking for approval to move forward with this purchase.
How much will you get for this truck when you sell it?
We're gonna move the truck that's there into the public works fleet. I guess you'd say out of moving some vehicles around, the vehicle that's kind of the odd guy out is, I believe, around the 08 or 09 Chevrolet with about 100,000 miles or better on it. It came from the Parks and Rec department. And now Alex, who's doing facilities maintenance, is going to put that vehicle in use. But ultimately, where we are with this purchase is where right now I intend to stay, and that's 2 licensed vehicles at the wastewater treatment plant and 1 utility vehicle.
Anybody have any questions, Tim? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Amendment to the fee schedule, Aaron? Or, yeah, Kim?
We bring before y'all, sorry. We bring before y'all, an amendment to the fee schedule. It is in the planning department. It's on page 4. She wanted to add the zoning permit for $50 and then a food truck permit for $50. And that's all that we're changing.
It was increasing the food truck.
Add, and have one.
We didn't have.
Any questions?
I got a question on these food trucks that's been coming in right now that they've been having to get a permit. What's gonna be, how they gonna find out we got it now?
That's a question for Erin. Because she's the enforcer. I'm just.
Now, we'll have to do the groundwork, reaching out to them, start with, Johnson County, because they have to go through Johnson County, or they have a list of all the commissaries that are in the area. So at the day's end, that commissary services most of the food trucks that you see in Benson, and disseminating the information that you pass this ordinance this evening. There is a permit that they must obtain at this point.
And then they would come to the finance office and purchase it.
Is that an immediate start date, or are you gonna do a predicted start date like January 1?
That's up to y'all. The effective date I put on here is December 9th. That's tomorrow. I can change that. I mean, what I wrote is not set in stone. We can make it January 1. That'll give us, or we can even do February 1. That'll give us time to get in touch with everybody. Because these what's getting changed is Aaron's department. That's it. It's not going to affect anybody else.
So somebody, every time a food vendor has to set up, they have to go to Johnson County? Or they just do it once a year?
They have to be, they're either set up in Johnson County or Wake County through environmental health to get their inspections done, and they do that once a year. So they have a list at the county level, all the food trucks that are operating in the county. And I've been in contact, I've spoken with one of the mobile food truck inspectors. So they have a list, and they're also commissaries where it's required that food trucks are attached to these commissaries so that they can go and empty their wastewater, store their food, prep, and things like that. It's either a restaurant or a standalone kitchen that they must be associated to. And like I said, there's one in Benson where the Days Inn, where the Mexican restaurant.
Right.
That commissary services a lot of the food trucks that you see in the town, such as El Tacos Corral.
So what if you had a food truck coming from Wake County?
Then we would have to just reach out to Wake. That would be the start. Reaching out to these local counties to see who they have listed, and reaching out to them. That just to do the groundwork to disseminate this information that we now have an ordinance, and you're required to have a permit. So
And this permit would just be a once a year thing.
Right. For the town, it'll be a once a year thing from the fiscal year. That $50 permit will cover that. But they are required once a year to have inspections through the health of the environmental health department.
I know you got a lot of food trucks that set up all through town, and my subdivision where I live at, and then you got food trucks that set up in the ETJ part of it.
Yeah, it's a new phenomenon that we've seen. Before food trucks, they were getting itinerant merchant permits, but we've seen an explosion where, especially during the pandemic with the restaurants being closed, you see a lot more food trucks coming into different towns. So in our department, we have to be aware of that. We have to focus on reaching out to them and a strategy to capture that and disseminate that information to the public. So it's a good start. I was saying it's a good start with the environmental health departments, because they know even if they're licensed in Wake County, they know if they are operating in Johnson County or the surrounding counties. And then you have the commissaries as well that they are attached to. So it would just be a matter of reaching out to them. Town of Benson is now requiring food truck permits. Like I said, I've spoken to one of the inspectors at Johnson County. He's well aware of our ordinance, he's seen it, and so they're happy to work with us.
Would they call a food truck permit or a food truck license? When I think of the word permit, you're going out there inspecting.
It's a mobile food unit, is if you want to be technical about it. And they call them permits. They're not necessarily licenses. They're permits. Now that we have an ordinance that's really addressing from a zoning perspective, so it will fall under zoning enforcement, code enforcement. And then you have the environmental health side that inspects certain mobile food units. Now, other food units that do like popcorn, kettle corn, and things like that, they're not permitted under environmental health. But we can still, if we see someone set up in the town and go there and say, hey, you need a permit, it has to be displayed so that we know that they are adhering to
Now,
our new adopted ordinance.
how would this affect like meal days? If you got a lot of vendors, so.
Mule days is under a separate ordinance,
So that would be the same as.
and also the ordinance that we just adopted, it specifies you have a special event permit, which that special event mule days could fall under that ordinance. But anything outside of a special event where they're setting up on private property, or if they get permission to set up in on the town right of way in a parking lot or that nature on town property. So there will be two different designations to make sure that we covered that, since we do have the one special event in town mule days with the ordinance that covers that.
What happens if, let's say that I've got a food truck and I'm gonna know I set up because I don't have a permit?
We would reach out to the, if you're set up in town and we see it and we're aware of it and we say, okay, they don't have a permit on file for this food truck, we would go to them, speak to them, just like any other code violation, reach out to them, the property owner, because they have to be on the property, so we can find out whose property that food truck is located on and start that process. This is what you need to do to obtain a permit. We could, if you start, like, say for instance, with the building permit, if you start construction without a permit, you can be charged double the fee. But I don't think that would necessarily be necessary. It would just, hey, come and get the permit, stop what you're doing. Come and get
It's a new place that, let's say I say, I'm reading from it, we'll do it.
Then you would be subject to the civil penalties. The property owner we could go to court for an injunction. It would be considered a misdemeanor if you're in violation of the zoning code.
What if the property owner don't know that about?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
What if the property owner don't know that about what's going on between you and the food truck vendor?
They have to, before that food truck vendor can set up on their property, they have to have written permission, and that's part of their application packet, is to show that they have written permission from that property owner. They can't just go and set up on someone's property or set up on the town's property or in the parking lot without permission. So part of that application, so we'll be developing a permit application and instructions, to make sure that we can track it, that we can know where they are, the property owner, get all of that information before they, set up. But of course, if someone does it without a permit, and then we start code enforcement proceedings, which what we have available, it's a misdemeanor. They can be, for each day that use is in operation without a permit, they're subject to a $50 per day fine, or we could go to court and obtain an injunction for the judge to order them to stop. That's the remedy that we have in our Unified Development Ordinance for any zoning violation.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Kimberly,
Partnership for Children, has asked that we renew their lease. They use the space beside the fire department in that L-shaped building. So I'm bringing before y'all a lease that I, put together, a renewal, and it would start December 1st, 2020 through December 31, 2021. And it's $700 a month. We didn't change any of the terms of the agreement. We just needed to get the renewal.
well, we need a contract so we can collect the money. When's the last time they paid?
They paid June 30th of 2020, and then they shut down really in March when COVID hit, and they stopped paying. And so I reached out to Dwight, right before the end of the fiscal year and said, hey, what do y'all want to do with your lease? And y'all haven't made a payment. So they did pay through the end of June, because that's what their lease stated. And then this starts December 1st, so we're kind of giving them those months off where they don't have to pay us.
Well, I've talked to Dwight, and he don't really know what he's gonna do. That's anything. And, we really would like to go with the group that's in Smithfield that had attempted to organize a boys and girls club. Combine everything with them. If, it's something that Benson wants to do. But right now, because they didn't have a contract, they had to pay the money. And, so they will owe us, 7 months, 6 months.
Well, I don't know whether we need to renew the lease if they're gonna have to balance.
No, they don't. Well, I mean, their contract ended June 30th,
Okay.
the previous contract. And I reached out to him in like March and said, hey, are you going to renew? Because I try to keep up with those buildings that we have, kind of like highway patrol, them. Hey, are you going to renew? They didn't know what they were going to do. They were already put out because of COVID. But he said, I don't know if we're going to renew, but I will pay you through the end of this contract, which is June. So they did do that. And then, as far as I know, the contract ended June 30th. So this new renewal would start December 1st. So we would actually give them.
That leaves the question.
Did they still occupy the building after their lease ended? Did it not go up?
Nobody's been there. The only thing I'm not, has Janelle's group been there? Yeah, nobody's been there.
Is there property in there?
Is there belongings in
Yes,
it?
their
Do we
belongings
not-
are in there.
Why didn't we go back out for lease if we wanted to lease it? August 1st or July 1st?
Honestly, I couldn't get them to tell me what they wanted to do.
Well, that's what I was just raising the question. If we don't give him a contract from July 1st to June 30th next year, he needs that in order to pay. He's a state, he gets most of his money from the state. They have some pretty strict rules. So we really ought to change that contract. And I think it would be the right kind of gesture to excuse them for 3 months rent. Like 3 months that comes after September 1st.
If then you say, even like December 1st or whatever, you still don't know what you want to do, right?
he knows he's gonna, he's saying he's renewing, but he still doesn't know if they're gonna continue the programs yet.
This is, the renewal you've got here goes, starting this month, it goes to the end of the calendar year 2021. That, the previous, extension, I think, ended in 2019. And like all the extensions in the original lease stated that any extended period of time beyond that without another extended period or a set term is just a month-to-month thing. But the stay through June, that was month-to-month. It doesn't sound like they actually vacated in a legal sense, although practically they may have left. So if they have their stuff in there, they didn't say they wanted to quit the tenancy, I guess they legally still owe you the rent. So it's month. If you want to go back and say, well, I don't know about his term, if he wants it to, for some reason, if June is a, if it needs to coincide with school year or something, this definitely goes, and they have partnership with children for several years now, on a calendar year to calendar year ending in December. So he needs to change that. I don't know what stops to be, that might just be a whatever point, but also then as far as the back amount, if you have that discussion with him and he agrees to do it, then fine. I guess if you don't right now, you can just say, well, I'm not gonna do it, and then it's up to you if you wanna pursue it.
Either that, or we can at least increase the lease amount for the next lease to be able to recoup some of those costs and not stick to the $700 per month. I mean, we need to increase the rate for the next year. And we just spent $400,000 over there tearing down buildings. I'd like to see some kind of return out of what we got.
Yeah, that's a question of.
Spread what land are they gonna do?
Tear down, yeah.
Maybe hold it and go back and talk to Dwight and come back in January.
Let me make a suggestion that you do that.
I can do that.
Approval for the
Hazard.
resolution 208-2020.
So, Tim, Allen, and I, for the past several months, I feel like it's probably been a year now, have been working with some of our neighboring counties to put together a hazard mitigation plan. It's countywide. It's really beneficial for us in our next large event when it comes to FEMA, trying to get funding from them in the future. But it's basically a plan of what ifs, what if tsunami, what if hurricane, those types of things. It's the counties led the initiative, and we just put in our Benson information, and then we're adopting a full Cape Fear plan. And all the towns have to adopt it. It's about 1,200 pages. I know we've got 2 copies in the office, and then Angie sent y'all a link to it, and it's a lot of information. So, but we have to pass the resolution and give it back to the county that we approve it.
I'll entertain a motion.
And I'll make that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. October financials.
Bring forward to you guys the October financials. At the end of October, we should have been at 33%. We, in revenues, were at 31.94, and our expenditures were at 33.04. I will give you all an update. I know I sent an email out last week on the COVID extensions. We do have a few more that have paid. So to recap, 207 were initially on the extension, and now 149 have paid. That's 72%. 40 are still in an active payment arrangement, and 18, which is 8%, have left, leaving a debt of $5,900. So, could have been a lot worse, I will say that. The 40 that are on active arrangements, I know that of 2 that are going to be completely paid off by HOPE, the program that the state rolled out. They have pledged it already. Their bills were between $700 and $1,000, if I recall. So we're just waiting on the money to come in for that. So, and then the other ones we are, I actually was talking. Community Action is the one that's doing the HOPE program, and I actually made contact with them today for another resident that is having a difficult time paying back their bills. So I'm trying to to get people to the right place and try to get them help. So, and so is the rest of my team.
Any questions of, on the financial?
Have you seen any return from, have you seen anybody to the MC Hope? And have you seen any return on funds for any of those outfits?
We haven't seen any money yet, but we have had pledges. So, usually, Community Action is the one that's managing the program. And they usually take at least 2 to 3 weeks to get money to us. There's this whole process they have to go through. So once they approve it with us, they have a lot of different obstacles that they have to go through on the normal program. So I just anticipate it probably taking 30 days, especially because it's new for them. And they're not a very big staff that I recall.
Make a motion to approve the finance.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Consider approval of purchase order over $10,000.
I'm gonna let Alan come up and do that one because it's for him. Grab it. This is the only one.
Okay, what I have here, back whenever we first started, talking about getting the new utility truck, and then, back during the budget time, we were talking about what to do with the money. Decided we looked to have a new set of, hydraulic, excavating equipment. So we said we got enough money to sell a utility equipment, so, right first November, county sale, about $36,500. They put the budget in between. So we're pretty good on that. So to get a set of hydraulic excavation equipment to match what we've got already, have another set on the truck, $26,660. So again, the sale of the truck will take care of that. Guarantee.
What was the total figure?
$26,660. It is for a ram, a cutter, and a spreader. The maker, the hoses like what we have now, that we move forward in case we need to get down and move the
Is that part of the $86,000 that you've got in the encumbrances?
86,000.
For which line item, Mayor?
What?
Which line item are you talking about?
Fire department,
For which line item?
fund 11.
We get hold of the.
The 7,500. Yeah.
So not this being separate.
The big ticket that he has in capital outlay is for air packs, and that's FEMA reimbursed. That's a grant that he got from FEMA. That's something different.
I make a motion that we approve.
All in favor, say aye. Town manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Basically, we have events coming up in the month of December. The staff Christmas drive-through luncheon at 12. And then all 9 roads of town facilities will be closing at 12 noon. We do expect to have a drawing for at least a couple ones for our employees, and I know we'll be excited to see who wins those. We'll be closed December 24th, 25th, and 28th. And of course, January 1st, which is New Year's Day, 2021. So, besides, as always, bragging on the staff, and what they do on a daily basis to keep this town run smoothly. Even times that we see help some people We've got some local feathers. Hopefully we can keep them the top of happy and serve.
So, when did you say that, Christmas dinner was?
That luncheon is on the 18th.
On the 18th? What time is that?
Noon.
So, I said that I would donate a ham, so when do you need that?
At least by the Thursday, 17th.
Yeah.
That's another enjoyment ham. Town commission had always participated.
There are accepting gift cards too.
Yes,
Okay, but it's not traditional gift card.
yes. We accept any gifts.
Say what did you say, Fred?
So we'll accept any gifts to gift the staff by way of drawing. Like we normally do at the Christmas party.
Yeah.
So commissioners have gifts that they would like to support that if we can.
The question is the 28th of December a state holiday too?
Yes, sir. That Monday, or you talking about the? Yes, sir. We go by the state calendar, and the state calendar gives us 3 days for Christmas. And so they typically do Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then the day after. And since the day after is a Saturday, it fell on that following Monday.
All right.
I don't have anything unless there are questions. Just say Merry Christmas.
Okay, Max?
I don't have anything unless there are questions. Grabbing good.
I'd like to say, just appreciate everybody's hard work, and I wish everybody a safe and Merry Christmas.
Son?
And of course, happy holidays to all of the commissioners and employees. Look forward to working with you on 2020.
Certainly, I would like to extend my Merry Christmas holidays and thank you for all you do. I'm gonna try and make it out to you because I want to eat with you all. But I do have a question. I'm trying to understand what Mr. Woodley was talking about. What does he want to do? I want to understand that.
He just wanted to tell us.
What was he?
He wants you to somebody. That's what he said.
I'm saying. That's what kind of liability for what? Are they calling in back?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yes,
So
sir.
a lot of people come in there in town, I get about 8 or 10 phone calls. I tell them,
I mean, are they breaking their laws is what I want to know. Thank you for that.
only thing I heard from the phone calls is that they're leaving Benson.
That what?
They're leaving, they're not gonna meet there.
I thought we had a town ordinance that prevented churches from being in the downtown area.
We do, but, part of our ordinance allows non-conforming uses, legally non-conforming uses to continue. So there was a place of worship there for, I think, about 15 years. When they vacated, the town allows 180 days, to continue that use. So they moved in within a month or two after the initial church moved out, and they continued on the use.
Is that a town rule or is that a state rule? Is that something that we can edit as a town?
It's a town rule. It's not an uncommon rule for non-conformities. So, you'll see it in across, and general statute allows for the continuation of non-conformities. Now, if you want to say, change it to 3 months, 90 days, or 60 days, you can certainly do that. Today, the ordinance says 180 days, evidenced by the disconnection of the electric utility.
Can you identify the non-conformity by use type? Can you pinpoint a church
Right.
and not change the whole policy to 180 days, or is it got to be uniform across every type of use?
I wouldn't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to single out churches as
Right.
being more restricted.
They may be the last church in the downtown district, that's continuing on. I believe others have moved out of this sector now. But I can always bring a text amendment to you all, and you would like to reduce that 180 days to a lesser number but it would be uniform for all non-conforming.
Well, when I made phone calls all around the criminal circle, I was told that the best thing you can do is let them have their meetings and go home. They're not going to cause any trouble.
But that's what I'm
They're just not
asking.
going to let you go in their meeting.
If that makes,
And,
just background, they actually used to, the same group that's in that location on Market Street, they used to rent the conference center, for their services as well. And while they were looking for an actual space, so they rented the conference center here for several months, before they rented the space downtown.
We actually stopped that rental because they kept messing up.
That's not the what?
We stopped the rental because they weren't in compliance with the contract, basically. They kept leaving, they wanted to have, refreshments in here, and they were still like red juice in here, and they were using the whole conference center, and so they just weren't doing, what the contract stated, so.
But I'm trying to figure out, did they break, have they, it's the chief in here, have they broken any laws in Benson? Have they killed anybody?
No, ma'am.
Have you had to arrest any of them?
No, ma'am.
Well, then that's what I'm trying to find out, what is the problem? I
Okay.
just needed to know that.
Jim,
Just one comment, and I've just had two people approach me about the leaf pickups, and I want to make sure. Do we send out something in our billing statements as to when leaf pickups are? Where is there a schedule for when the leaves will be picked up?
November 1st to February 1st.
But what days? Well, and I've had two people. Actually, they both might have come back to my office and said they raked up the leaves, truck never came back by. They ended up having to rake them again. Truck didn't come back by. That's twice that I've had that. And I'm just asking, is there a schedule? I'm not sure if it.
Don't they come on Monday, Tim?
Leaf collection.
When do they pick up leaves?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Sometimes we're Friday. 6 is Monday. 5th is about 6 on Monday, and then leave. 6 on Wednesday. Offset week, like this week, we're running all day Monday, 6 and leave, we did pick up on Tuesday. We have to adjust it to the rate.
But if you get pushed back, then we just got our truck.
This was, one was Friday, Thursday and Friday of last week's when they.
Yeah, they called me too. It was Friday last week, and it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
What's on Fair Drive? The other one is, East.
We can't miss it. Not that. Someone just let us know. We'll get back around to you.
So if they call town hall after they wake them up, would that be
Well, I mean, they don't have to call, but hey, just for leave, come get them, but if we used
Yeah.
to. Yeah, certainly.
Got my trash collection as well, when it's missed, and fall downtown. But I'm looking for the trash.
And can I ask one other question? Now that's another thing. This trash, I'm confused on them. Like, because one time they were picking up yard debris on Wednesdays. Then on Thursday, every other Thursday, they would pick up the yellow. Not the garbage, but the recycling. Now they're picking up everything on one day. I mean,
The garbage, I thought it was supposed to be every other. Well, Renata told me when I moved that my trash pickup was every Wednesday, and then that recycling and the leaf would be every other week.
yeah, but that's not the way they're doing it.
So they're not
And
doing
no, they're not, and
Well,
they're not half doing it, and they're making one mess in the road. I don't know what is spilling out of that truck, but it smells awful, and it is leaving a mess in the street.
You got a little card in the mail and
the calendar.
the deal that it's about this size that I stick up on the refrigerator and it has colors.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I can read the card, but that's not what they're doing. Is what I'm telling.
Oh, you say.
No, they're not doing that.
Colors. Well, it's pretty good.
I about to say on my card, it shows everything being picked up.
Well, that's what they're doing on my way.
But I have noticed is that the yard debris and the recycling is going all in one truck.
That's been brought to my attention a couple times. I've reached out to Waste Management. They've indicated that they would correct that issue.
They've done it multiple times. They actually did it last time they picked up recycling. Was it last Thursday? Cause I was at home, I seen them.
Yeah, every now and then, Commissioner, we do get a report to that effect. We will send supervisors.
Yeah.
Fairly.
They have followed up on it. I don't know if it's turnover in truck driving. I think the recycling industry is not very lucrative here over the past year or so, and it would not surprise me if they could get recycling.
So I know recycling's gonna be a thing. Ask to.
You saying they put the yard waste in? the
Yard
same-
waste and
That's
recycling
good.
goes
I'm
in one
not
truck.
saying I tell you, they empty everything on one day. Then
That's tough.
Miss Holly,
They
I
do
did
it multiple
touch Jerry to
times.
find out what's going on.
and that leak that's in there, I don't know what that is, but it's awful. That whole street that we just got paved back in the summer is just streaked all up. It's awful, and it smells terrible.
I'll check up on that, I'll follow that. They're supposed to have, their bodies are supposed to see it, they're not supposed to leak.
They leak.
A lot of it, when you got somebody throwing waste, liquid in the trash can. But I'll get behind those trucks. I've got to follow them from time to time. I reach out to them a few times and let the rest of the issue. But I will get on this week and make sure we don't have any correction.
I tell you, the way ours gets picked up, the yard waste gets picked up first. Garbage gets picked up next, and recycling gets picked up last, and it's usually get a little bit north when they come. And that's been pretty regular.
I'm trying to think, the day after Thanksgiving, that all our trash is picking up recycling. But that's when everything, recycling.
Same truck.
And the time before that, the same thing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing down my way. Exactly the same thing. Everything gets picked up the same day.
Now, the trash, that's another trick comes through, it's got a grabber on. But,
Break the
It does, and when that happens, they throw the can in the garbage. They throw it in the truck.
They
So
sure
y'all hear
do.
people say, we're missing our can, just tell them to call us, and we'll have to bring them out another one. But if they break it, it's not worth it to them to have it fixed. They're just throwing the whole can in the truck and crushing it, getting another one out there.
Okay, William Neighbors.
I just got a few things to say. First, while we're talking about garbage cans, I just want to look at Aaron and put you in the spot. I'm getting a lot of complaint. I'm complaining because I see a lot. If I'm not mistaken, there's an ordinance that says those cans have to be rolled back streets in town, there's a lot of cans sitting on the curb. And so, and I'm pretty sure we got an ordinance against that, correct?
Yes, that's, that doesn't fall on planning. We do nuisance abatement for the trash cans left in the street, that's, under public works and utilities. So if I ever get a call about it, I'll let, Crystal or Danielle know, because people, they naturally think it's our department, but, if they reach out to them and send letters regarding anything, trash collection and pickup.
There's several in Parish and Pine, if you ride by, those cans sit out there 7 days a week.
That's all I'm saying.
And it probably is all over town. I'd love to see something done about that. And one other thing I'll say is I noticed that Fred sent out some emails. I just want to locally say on public record that anything you need to fine for that is against that ordinance is there for a reason. And on this side, this table, you've got my support to do whatever that ordinance is. And, other than that, I'll just say thank you very much for all y'all you continue to do. I know it's been a rough year. Hopefully 2021 will be better. But Merry Christmas, and I'll very appreciate it. Thank you very much.
For the advisory committee, Dean, Jim, and Max are the 3 people that's on that, and of course, nobody came. We just said that they got it all down pat. They didn't need to come see what. We know you're ready. Are you guys willing to serve? Yep. Max? Jim? No. All right, who wants to serve on the other 3 that just came off? Who wants to serve another term?
Well, I won't throw that on somebody. I'll do that before I put it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim's gonna do it.
But I will say this, this is fruitless stuff a lot of times. I'm not gonna get off on my tear, but these people, you're not gonna fill these committees. You haven't done it in years. Start doing it now.
I think the biggest thing that we do is planning. We get multiple applications every year for the planning department.
Well, you got one board that you got, ever how many that we have that you're never gonna fill, and people don't go once they take it and accept.
So Jim's gonna help y'all. You can help Jim.
And I want this on the record. We got to do something about speeding in Benson. I'm almost afraid to live on Lincoln Street.
Come to the house, I'll give you one of my life signs.
Well, I got a call or got an email this morning I gave to Greg and to Fred about Pine Street.
I want my dip back. We need that dip back in the front yard.
But you know, I'm serious. I looked at the police report and citations compared to last year, it was like 5 times what it was last year. So people must not care if they get a ticket. But I watched yesterday, y'all, they were cutting down a tree or started today. And of course, the trucks were sitting close to the street. And the cars were still coming by there running 60 miles an hour. And if one of those guys that stepped out, it would have been nothing. We got to do something about it, and we talk about it all the time. But we didn't do it. So I charged Fred to Greg get their heads together and figure out what is going to work.
How many cars we got equipped with radar detectors?
Wow.
Is there anything else need to come before the board? I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I make a motion to go to closed session after a 5-minute recess.
You need a break?
I do.
It's gonna be a short one.
Yeah, a very short break.
It's gonna be a short.
All right.
All right.
Will be a short